Hi guys. I know it's been a while. It must have seemed as if I dropped right off the face of the earth. I've been keeping up with everybody. I'm a couple of days behind this time, but it has been a really weird couple of weeks. Um, as you know, towards the 3rd, we had somebody coming to spray for bed bugs, which we discovered that we had and was not very pleasant. I had a mild moment of freaking out because we're a cluttered household, but we're not dirty, and so I had to learn to do away with some preconceptions about such things. They do seem to have a problem with them here like we did back east. I don't know where they came from. I don't care where they came from at all. I just don't want them again. And they could have come in from anywhere. I mean, our kiddos go outside and play. They go to the people's houses. They go to school. I mean, hubby and I, we go to work, we come home. But, I mean, it's unfortunately pretty easy to get them from anywhere. So it looks like we'd had them for a little bit and we just didn't know it. The great thing is that after that weekend of hell, which was what the last post was about, because it pretty much was hell. I came in that Friday, paid my rent, told them exactly what was going on so they could have, send out a warning to our neighbors. Got told that I had approximately 2 days to get my house together. I had what felt like strep throat, but was just a really super nasty cold. Things around here, when it comes to viruses and colds and things like that, are just 110%. I mean, Utah does not play around. And around here, stomach viruses go around 5 times more. Colds are amped. I mean, just amped through the roof. So I came home that Friday. I mean, I had paid my rent. I'm arguing with my office manager going, can you give us a couple of days? And I was just miserable as hell. I came home, slept for about 12 hours, and then just started cramming. I mean, cramming hard. I got everything in the house washed, all bagged up, all put in the garage, hoping I wasn't putting anything with anything else that may have this. Because we had taken a box spring down about 4 or 5 months ago that could have had these things on them. And I'm like, oh my God, I have absolutely no idea. I really don't. So it was a nightmare. It was a complete and total nightmare. Monday rolled around. I had been up for about, by the time the bug guy came, I had been up for about 24 hours. By the time it was over, I had been up for about 36. And I still had this nasty cold. Had to call into my job so I could get that taken care of, because we had to pack up the cats, both of which do not like carriers, and go hang out for a little bit. We got told we don't have to do that again. He was supposed to come by supposedly once a week, but it's going to be every 2, so he'll be here on the 18th, and then he'll be here again on the 1st. So it's an every 2-week thing, where I guess he comes and he does spot sprays, things like that. We don't need to pack up the cats. We don't need to rewash everything. He was under the impression that nothing had been washed, everything had just been packed up. And I'd let him know, no, we were told everything had to be washed. That's exactly what we did. I have like 2 loads of laundry that are in the laundry room that I haven't touched yet. And he was like, okay, great, that's fine. It turns out they were located, I think, pretty much in one place, though he sprayed the couch just in case, because people are in and out from the bedrooms to the couch. But he didn't seem to find anything here. So it was just a bit of a nightmare. From what I understand, he checked absolutely everywhere, and he went ahead and sprayed. So when he comes back, at least I won't have to pack everything up, and I don't have that horrible cold, though I do have a bit of a lingering cough from it, which is loads of fun, I'm going to assure you. The week after that's just kind of a blur, because I was still recovering from the cold. I go to work, and I was so tired, and I was so depressed. And then one of the guys at work was just crushing it. I mean, he is obviously a natural salesman. We all have the same tools. I've got all this memorized, and I'm really good at customer service. I'm just not a salesman. So I spent a whole entire week feeling like I was getting my ass kicked. Because this guy was just slamming it down. Just easy peasy. No issues. I mean, like, this is an ordinary day, ordinary conversation. He's just slamming down sales, and I'm floundering. Having a lot of good conversations, making a lot of friends, but just not, I don't have that spark that's needed. Next weekend rolls around, this last coming weekend, and I just vegged. I just didn't care. I was so grateful for a weekend where I just did not have to think. I did not have to do anything. And it was nice. It was really super nice. Got my paycheck. I thought my paycheck for my last job was miserable. I made about $100 less. So I'm going, I can't keep doing this. To top it all off, my poor husband had 4 offers that were extended and then yanked out from underneath him. So he spent the last week and a half completely depressed. And I mean, and we're just staring down the barrel. We got our income tax checks back. Like I said, it's not what it was before, but we were able to pay off the person who assisted us with paying rent. And well, not completely pay off. I still owe a couple hundred. But we were able to do that, and we're able to survive throughout the month. Now, when rent comes around, that's going to be a whole nother ball game. And that's just because poor hubby's had 4 offers yanked out from underneath him. And I had a job that's extremely miserable, where I'm just not doing it. I mean, I know what it is. I mean, I've trained, when I was an auditor, I trained well over 120 auditors. Well over. I'd say that for every 40, 50 auditors, there's one who actually was an auditor. Anybody can crunch numbers. Anybody could follow the checklist and do absolutely everything that needed to be done, and maybe even understand a little bit of what it is they're doing. But only an auditor can look at what it is they're doing, and after a couple months, not only have the whole reason for why it's all done the way it is click, but be able to find shortcuts around it. So instead of spending 2 hours trying to find that missing penny, they already know instinctively where to go look. That's what it's like. I have found the one thing that I am just really not good at, and that is being a salesman. There is that little thing there that makes it click that I just don't have. I can see why it's done. I can see why people would, need the services I'm selling. I could see all of that. But I couldn't make the knowledge and my guest service abilities click in just a way to make sales. So like I said, all last week was a blur. I hit the weekend. I started reading the Alex Veras books. Thank you, Mathiel. I love those to pieces. I think they're great. I think they're awesome. If a movie ever comes up where they do Alex Veras like they did for like Dresden, I want to be the voice of Arachne. I really do. I love her. Sorry. So I spent my weekend doing that. I spent my weekend reading and just basically trying to retreat and not have to deal. And then, of course, catching up with you guys because I was a week behind. Like I said, the whole entire week last week was just a blur. It was a blur. It was me going to work, trying to not be depressed while I watch this guy crush it, trying not to be pissed at myself because that's certainly not going to help, and just really wishing I wasn't there. Hoping I didn't make a mistake by leaving my old company for this one, but either which way, that was going to have to happen in the end anyway. Both of them paychecks miserable. So, like I said, rent upcoming is a question. I may not be able to pay it just because poor hubby, things have just not been going well for him for the last month. And then, of course, I spent 3 weeks at a job that I just can't seem to do. So yesterday happened. All weekend while I was catching up with you guys and while I was reading awesome books, and getting hubby involved and reading him awesome books, and just basically enjoying the weekend and chilling out and trying not to think about how screwed we are, I was putting in job applications because I'm like, this eventually is going to come up. So I just started putting in job applications. I went in yesterday, and to me, just everything was funny. Absolutely everything was funny. I had hit that fuck it point where I'm like, this is definitely not a job for me. This whole entire thing is hilarious. I already know at some point in time they're going to drag us in and start going, well, why can't you do it? And you need to do this by this time, or you could lose your job. The supervisor over us, I want to give him excuses, but I can't. I really do. My husband gets offended if I give excuses to some people, but don't give excuses, as a general. This gentleman, the whole entire time that I worked for this place, if he wasn't riding my ass and basically making me feel like I was completely worthless, he was ignoring me. There's no encouragement whatsoever. The guy's got more encouragement. Everything I did, even if it was good, he always found something that was wrong with it. So, and he's about maybe 15, 17 years younger than me, which makes it even more galling, but I was trying not to factor any of that in. So he's pulling people in the office, and he gets, our number one, salesman, our crush guy in there, who's like slammed down anywhere between 7 to 12 already within the last 3 weeks. And talked with him, and then talked to the next guy who hasn't done anything either. I mean, he hasn't done it either. And then came my turn. And I walked in and I looked down and I realized what I'm looking at is kind of like a progress report, but it could also be a write-up. And it was so hilarious to me. So I sat down and he starts talking, and I realize he thinks he has the upper hand, but I'm the one who's got it. Because I'm not going to play the bullshit games. I'm not going to play that game. I'm not going to sit here and beg for a job that, quite frankly, I've become miserable at because I can't do it. I dread coming into work here. And I like the number one sales guy who crushes it. I like him. He's a nice guy. I like the overall manager. He's a pretty nice guy. I like the district manager. He's a pretty nice guy. He's pretty freaking awesome. And he's always gung-ho and enthusiastic and quite sure that anybody can do this. Okay? So versus the guy who's sitting in front of me, who, let's just go ahead and face it, he's a dick. That's just who he is. He's just a dick. Well, we sat down and he was like, well, to remain in this position, blah, blah, you're expected to do a minimum amount of yada, yada. I'm like, I know. And he was like, so, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I know. And he was like, we have two options here. I mean, you can do this, or, you can do this. And I'm like, well, I'll take option B. And he was like, what? I'm like, I'll take option B. And he was like, well, to do that, you have to sign a piece of paper saying you resign. I'm like, yeah, I know. Go get it. Because I thought about it. I could work the next week under threat that I'm going to lose my job if I do not get a certain amount of sales. Which would only make me more miserable, only make me more desperate, only make it less likely it's going to happen. Or I could just go ahead and resign and save the trouble of another miserable struggle of a week that wasn't going to get me anywhere. My next paycheck is going to be miserable enough as it is, but sitting there riding the clock, not getting anywhere, and then losing my job in a week's time anyway just is not conducive. So I had already interviewed for a job last week, middle of the week. I already know I didn't get that one. I'm kind of sad about it because it was an office environment. I'd have felt really comfortable, loads of paperwork. I'd have actually loved it, but I never got called back. So she probably found somebody who had done something like that before. And my cats are currently killing something. So it was just one of those, I had perfect clarity. I understood exactly what was going on. And I just told him no, I'm not going to play the game. I think I sat him back on his heels a bit. He was not expecting that. He was not expecting me to go, yeah, I know, here's your stuff, bye. I still have to turn in a shirt and a jacket. Beyond that, that's about what I've got to turn in. But I do. I think I rocked him back a bit on his heels, which made the whole situation even more hilarious to me. I don't know what it was, but the whole thing just completely tickled my funny bone. I mean, I'm losing my job right now, but it is the most hilarious thing in the world. And it's almost like a satisfaction because I've got the upper hand on this dude. We've walked around for the last 3 weeks, I'm underneath his thumb, and he's the type who likes to lord it, subtly, but he does. And it was just really, really chafing, and here it is, this guy was expecting me to basically beg for my job. No. So, even though I have no other job lined up, and my poor husband has had at least 4 different jobs yanked out from underneath him, I walked out of there feeling like somebody had removed a vice from me. It was completely freeing. On my way out, I told the one sales dude who was crushing it that he's going to make team lead. He's got no issues with that. He completely crushes it. He owns that bad boy. That if that branch is going to expand, it's going to be because of him. Because he's just completely friggin' hammering it. He's a nice guy, too. I shook his hand on the way out. He seemed kind of upset, like he didn't exactly get what was going on. He had no idea what had just happened. So I felt kind of bad for him, but he'll be fine. He'll recover. That man, if he doesn't make 20 sales by the end of this week, I'll be completely surprised. So, I mean, he just, I handed him my shirts, which were in the back seat, because I had washed them and set them off to one side, and then got in the car and drove away and came home last night and felt good for most of the night until I started worrying of, well, I mean, I just shot myself in the foot. I could have hung in for another week and received another paycheck. I mean, I wouldn't be doing much, but I'd have received a paycheck and then lost my job. So I thought about it, put in a couple more applications. Seemed to have a bit more luck. Today I got a phone call from a temp agency that I worked for when I first came here. My last job, before this current one, my last job, I worked for that temp agency for like 6-7 months, and then was hired on by the job and was there for, another year and a half, maybe some change. And then my husband went to go see a couple of people, and this one guy was like, oh yeah, I remembered your name, and I'm probably going to be giving you a call. So right now it's that limbo where I'm really super worried about paying rent at the end of the month, but I'm rather glad that I walked away from not just my job that I've been at for 2 years, but another job after finding out I really, really wasn't suited for it. But now I know. Now I know direct sales is just not my thing. It is nothing like sales coming to you, anything like that. It is just best to just go ahead and know this and just get it out of the way. I'm glad I figured this out now. Though I did have something weird. So I got the call from the temp agency going, yeah, we're going to need this information. Can you send this to us? Because we've got a job that's interested in hiring you. And I'm like, well, that's quick. Okay, sure. The lady I talked with is a bit of a ditz. But, I mean, it's like, okay, how long does it take you to find what it is I'm talking about? I get that I have 3 pages worth of a resume. But I'm literally giving you everything you need to know to find the information, and you're just not finding it. But I sent her a condensed version of my resume so she could send it to them. And I get a phone call from my apartment complex. Now, remember, the last time I posted anything was based on the fact that Bug Guy is coming. I have to pay for it. These asshats are giving me like 72 hours in which to get all this shit pulled together. Yeah. So, I technically don't owe them money until the guy gets done. The guy was supposed to come once a week. He said, no, actually I come every 2 weeks. And he was like, we really won't need any payment until, the 1st of next month. Okay. But they've still got me scheduled for paying on the 18th. Okay. Technically, I shouldn't pay until the service is done, but okay. I get a phone call from the day going, yeah, we have a $400 balance. Do you want to come and pay that now? No. No. I swear, this place runs like a freaking ghetto. Within the last 6 to 7 months, they started putting signs out going, rent's due on the 1st. Then they started emailing me around rent time to remind me that rent is due, though I've been here for just about 2 years and they've always received their money. They did a garage audit not too long ago where they gave you, instead of the 2 weeks that you should be allotted, they gave you 3 days. We didn't have anything to worry about, but still, 3 days. Now they can't sell any garages around here because nobody wants to put up with that. Because if you don't have a garage, you still get notices about them. Just like if you don't have a dog, you still get notices about dogs. I find it kind of... The only thing I can compare it to is that's how a slumlord behaves. I mean, this is due on this date, but I'm going to try to get you to pay it before then because I want my money. It's $400. Okay? It's $400 for a service that isn't even done yet. I swear to God, this place is just something else. I pay $1,400 a month to basically live in a place that behaves like a slum unit. It's kind of hilarious. They spend most of their time sending harassing telephone calls and email messages to the people who pay them anywhere between $1,400 to $1,800 to live in this place. They are one of the more expensive apartments and or rental properties here in this city. I don't understand it. I just really don't get it. Why are you behaving this way? I mean, you always get your money. So yeah, I received a phone call asking me to pay $400 about a week in advance. Actually, about 3 weeks in advance if you want to go ahead and get technical. Because until the job's done, I shouldn't technically pay anything. The job's not done. It's not going to be done until the 1st. I was just completely gobsmacked. I'm like, are you serious? You're calling me to try to get me to pay before then. Really? There's a $400 balance on your account. Really? Sorry. So that's just a taste of the last week and a half of crazy. And oh look, we're at 25 minutes. Apologies. I knew this one was going to run long just because I'm tired and I'm rambly and there's just, I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's been a bit of a blur to go through. But yeah, I mean, I've lost my job. I've got another one coming. My husband supposedly has another one coming, but this poor man's been told that at least 4 times in the last month and a half. So, panic is on his side. And then we've got rent coming up within the next 3 weeks, and we don't even know whether or not we're going to be able to pay it. And I've got the apartment breathing down my neck after forcing me to take services that I could have gotten for free. And they want me to pay it off early. There we go. That pretty much sums it up in a nutshell. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go and catch up on the last couple of days that I've missed. If you did not bother to watch this, I'm not at all offended. I wouldn't either. It's 25 minutes and counting worth of blither. Hopefully I remembered everything. I should have. I know I kept branching off, so I should have nailed out everything. Anything I forgot? Let's see. My youngest lost his glasses case, and my eldest's grades are doing better. So there's that. Until then, I will be dropping by everybody's journals and saying hi and reading and leaving commentary, which I've gotten better at doing here lately. I'm very proud of me. But until I do so, I shall leave you with this. Take good care of yourselves. Take good care of each other. Know that I love you, and I will see you guys soon.